Hello, everyone, and hello, panelists. My name is Josh Howell. I'm here on behalf of the Lean Enterprise Institute to host a discussion with a panel of distinguished thought leaders on the subject of lean product and process development, otherwise known as LPPD. I have a few questions that I'm going to toss out about LPPD overall, about why it's important, about why organizations struggle to implement LPPD's practices and principles. So without further ado, let's get the conversation started.
To start off, maybe a little bit about what LPPD is. And in my view, it's a set of principles and practices that we first identified at Toyota and have since evolved in a number of different industries that promote collaboration, transparency, rapid learning in the development of both process and product simultaneously, leading to the creation of really effective value streams. And when you think about that and you think about where product development is in an organization, your degrees of freedom for designing that value stream, for really designing your future state, is much greater than it is in any other activity that takes place in organizations. And when you add the fact that product development, when done well, engages just about every function in the organization, from not only engineering and marketing, which are obvious, but also manufacturing and supply chain and finance. It's really an opportunity to bring the organization together to sort of design their future.
So if you have not designed the production process properly, well, we know we're going to be doing rework. And an awful lot of the Kaizen that has taken place in the life of the lean community is in fact reworking a defective process that never should have been created that way to begin with. Same thing with marketing and sales. If you get it wrong in terms of what the customer wants and you launch the product, well, then you're immediately into rework, known as discounting or all kinds of spiffs in the car industry and promos and so forth, which were actually avoidable if you had just listened to the customer and then through LPPD translated that into what the customer actually wanted. So that's the negative. Let's avoid rework. Jim's already given the positive. You put those two together and you got some great reasons to do LPPD.
Product development is sort of invisible. You don't see anything until you actually get a product, and it's a big time delay, so it requires thinking long term. Even though the benefits of lean product development, of having a product or service that customers really want, they're excited about, that are better than their competitors, that customers are even willing to pay extra for, even those benefits are huge compared to the benefit of saving a few cents here and there on cost. And it's just not the way we think as humans normally. We want the immediate visible benefits. The leadership is very important. So we talk about the chief engineer role, who's an overall system architect, and that seems to be a very important intervention. And then having a strong cross-functional team that meets regularly and stays together is very important. So we've sort of come to the conclusion that basically what you're doing is creating a high-performing team.
I think it's really important to know where you are, know where you're starting before you try and figure out where you're going to be going. And so one of the things that we've been able to work with multiple companies over the last few years in this LPPD initiative is to start with companies and map something real and recent.
Well, we know the life of lean. I mean, I said this, but the life of lean is experiments. It's not abstract theory.
Last year, we had this really neat vibe of what I call just honest sharing. Both organizations sharing their very significant achievements and what they managed to pull off, and then also sharing their stumbles and what they learned from them and how they did some course correction from there. Heard a lot of comments about that. The other thing is I heard a lot of comments from other people and different folks that I talked to that if you listen between the lines, okay, maybe did some exchange of nouns in your head, you could start to see how this LPPD is not just for people who have a physical product with parts that go together. It can apply to media, it can apply to healthcare, it can apply to services, it can, what is the value you create? And so there was also a lot of those ahas going on within the folks who attended.
We have a group of people who are in senior leadership positions who have been working with the LPPD principles and practices for a significant amount of time, and have, I think, just invaluable lessons that they can share from their industries. Is the level of sharing that's going on with just super knowledgeable and experienced people.
And so I want to bring in the folks who are out there and say, gosh, you could learn some of this too. You could learn what's possible. So I want to help people understand that help is possible, that people who do operational improvements, people who do improvements in sales and marketing, they could also have a voice in the product and process development process. And they might even learn enough that they could be useful with companies that have so far not come to the table. So that's a big thing for me, is getting folks who have had a fatalistic view to have a opportunistic view. Hey, what could I do with this? And I think that's would be a great thing. So I'm hoping we're going to see those folks.
My recommendation to people coming into the summit is to come in with open eyes and really, come in not to be, to scrutinize the people who are presenting, but rather to come in and really learn something from them. We've done a lot of work finding a really great mix of presenters, thought leaders, practitioners. I'd say come in with a learning attitude. There's a lot of great speakers that we've selected for very specific reasons. Another thing is maybe bring a set of questions. What are some of the things you're trying to learn, you want to understand better? What are some of the issues that you are having in this space?
What we're really talking about is creativity and innovation, and getting groups of people to bring their best ideas and play off each other and really think about the customer and how they can create something really exciting for the customer. And the process of creation in a team environment is just fun and exciting. And it applies to almost every human endeavor.
And those members of the lean community who have not been paying attention are saying, I'll think about lean product and process development later. Well, why don't you do it now?